Go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to session 2 of Saturday School with Dr. JBG3. I am Dr. John B. Gordon III, and today we're going to talk a little bit about social emotional learning, behavior, and stress. And just as a recap from last week, it was really about talking about, as parents, as educators, or whomever's in charge of homeschooling our students during our current pandemic, it's really about how you were developing your routines. And I actually had to remind my team this week as I would work from 8 to 12 on all of my division responsibilities, and then kind of take a break to check in with Kennedy and Simone from 12 to 1:30 or 2, just to make sure that the activities and assignments that they were given from their school division, or actually the ones that we developed at home, were being done. Then I would resume my responsibilities as superintendent and then kind of close out with them around 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, just to make sure they had accomplished all of their goals. Now, from our last posting on routines, I got a great comment from one of our fans that talked about, what do you do if you have multiple children? And even when it comes to developing those routines, how do you handle that, especially if one or two of them may have some social emotional issues that they have to deal with? And the suggestion that I gave her was to really be able to assign assignments, roles for those students that kind of gives them a sense of leadership, a sense of ownership. And you didn't determine based on which roles or job responsibilities are the most important. You then determine which ones the kids love, which ones the kids like, and you kind of use that as leverage to kind of help to control some of that behavior. Now, parents, I'm here to tell you, because I've gotten several emails and comments, your children aren't bad. I know y'all want to put them in school suspension. I know you want to suspend them, expel them, or whatever. I've seen some hilarious social media posts, about all of that. But it's really about finding ways to incentivize your students to do what you are asking them to do. Not only is it the job and the roles and the responsibilities, but it also could be giving them some extended video time, giving them some extended things that they want to do that they really view as fun. Now, when it comes to social emotional learning, it's about self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, relationship skills, and responsible decision-making. And that's part of the hardest part probably for our generation, that responsible decision-making piece and that social awareness side. Because with technology, to be honest, our students spend so much time alone. They spend so much time as individuals. And when it comes to challenging issues, because they have that alone time, their coping skills may not be as strong as you would ask them to be. And we got to remember, our kids have a lot of anxiety right now, just like we do as adults, because of the pandemic that's going on. So we have to be able to keep that in mind as we're developing those routines, as we're trying to find ways to keep them motivated throughout the day so that they can end up doing everything that they've set their goals to. Setting those goals is going to be really important, parents, and I'm really stressing to you, have your students set some short-term goals and some long-term goals. Those things will make a difference, keeps you accountable, keeps the kids accountable, and you can kind of check the box and check some things off as you move through it. Now, one big key about social emotional learning or dealing with behavior or dealing with stress is being able to set up a support system. And I think that's important that we see in schools, but it's also important when we see at home. A good friend of mine right here, Lavelle Brown, who wrote the book Culture of Love, he just lost his mom a little while ago. And one of the things that we talked about, and as I sent him text to check on him, just let him know we were thinking about him. And when he responded back, it brought a great deal of pride and friendship and love that I have for him and he has for me, because he says, this is tough to get through, but you sending me this text just meant so much. So as we develop those support systems, continue to check in with each other, check in on your other parents, check in on your other teachers and colleagues. We talked about building relationships and how important that is, and you hear that so many times from all these educators. But right now it's so important because of the distance that we have between ourselves. We don't want people to misinterpret the tone of an email. We don't want people to misinterpret exactly what we're asking them to do or what our expectations are. Stay positive, stay encouraging. And this also includes when you're having these conversations with your students. The social emotional learning piece, the responsible decision making, the overall anxiety, those are things that we have to keep at the forefront of everything we do so that we can move forward together. I want to thank all of you all for tuning in for your next Saturday School with Dr. JBG3. Folks, as a reminder, don't forget, pick up that book, The Teacher's Lounge, The Real Roles of Educators in Your Schools. We're going to add the link in this message, and I thank you again for tuning in.